Hello and welcome back. And today we're going to be thinking about some 90-day goal setting. These slides I'm sharing with you and my thoughts are from my Activate Your Growth program, which hopefully we'll talk about a little bit later. Over the course of this program, the Love Yourself program, we've looked at your long-term vision. What will your business look like in the longer term? Have you even thought past this year? Did a visualization, and hopefully you created a vision for what your business, your life, and you could look like in about 10 years' time. If you haven't had a chance to watch that or listen in, please do so. We then looked at setting action goals, using the word action as a reminder for setting our action goals. And we're going to be using those action steps today, hopefully to help you make it happen. Finding your theme for 2023. What do you want to be, do, and have in 2023? We looked at that with what was going to be your theme, your word, your focus for the year. And then the final session today is setting a 90-day goal action plan in place, taking all the tools and tips from this program, adding in your vision and your action steps, and then breaking that down into 90-day steps to help you make 2023 your best year ever. If you haven't been on a call with me previously, let me just briefly introduce myself. My name is Ali Meehan. I'm founder of Costa Women, which is a community for women living in Spain or women thinking about moving to Spain. I've got over 35 years business experience, and I'm very fortunate in that I've lived in various countries around the world, and I've had various different careers as well. And I think all of that rich experience has led me to where I am today. In 2020, I decided to retrain and become a certified growth coach with Avenue for Growth. And that's really helped me support my community with using all the skills that I've learned along the way and bring that into a service which hopefully helps ladies grow their businesses. I'm sure where you are today is as a consequence of things that you've learned over the years. And I think it's a really good idea to actually write down all your skills and all the things that you've learned along the way, because we quite often forget what we've learned as we've grown in our business. And I think it's a really good project to do, to just sit down and make a note of all those things that you've learned along the way in your business life. Today, we're going to be thinking about your plan for 2023. Last time we talked about you creating your longer term vision for your business. It could be 10 years, it could be shorter term than that, but a longer term vision. And we took your dreams and your intentions and your goals, and we talked about how you could put those into action steps. Maybe you don't know what you want long term for your business. And I think if you haven't done so already, do listen in again to that 10-year vision recording and see if that helps you think, because it's good to work backwards and plan this year based on where you're hoping to be in 10 years. We don't know for definite, do we? Because we don't know what's going to happen. But at least if you've got some vision for where you want to be with your business, I think that really helps you to stay focused on where you want to head. Once you start the ritual of planning, it becomes easier if you have got a longer term strategy to see how you're going to get to your long-term vision. You need to work on that direction and create some priorities and milestones, and then work through to a 1-year plan to get there. What we're going to be looking at is you creating today a plan for your 1-year goal, which hopefully you've already started thinking about, but also the 90-day steps that you're going to put in place to get to that 1-year goal. Let me give you a couple of examples so you can understand what I'm referring to. Maybe you've got a physical goods business and you've got physical products that you want to sell. And maybe you've realized that your current market's too small for your products. And longer term, your 10-year plan is to take your products to a wider market. Maybe you just currently are working geographically in your own country and you want to take it more international. And you can start working on that now. Maybe you currently only have clients local to where you live. When I started Costa Women, it was just local to the Costa del Sol, and then we expanded it out to the whole of Spain. And now maybe I'm thinking about Portugal for the future. And those are things that I can put in place with my longer term strategy. Maybe your goal is to have your business in 10 countries where you offer your products or services. And it could be that in 3 to 5 years, you launch in 5 of those countries. And this year, you've decided you want to focus on one new country. And then you'd need to get into export mode. You need to think about languages possibly and import and export requirements if it's a physical goods office product or service that you're offering. You don't know the exact details for your 3 to 5 year plan or even 10 years or longer term. But this year you can choose your country. You don't know exactly who your clients will be in those countries, but what you can start to do is focus on the culture of those buyers and what are the best platforms to reach them on in those countries. And each different country can have a different social media focus. So it's really important to think about how you're going to be marketing your business in those new countries. When we do the 1 year planning within Avenue, this is about creating a real plan and about deciding what's going to happen and then committing to the results for that happening. And then thinking about your 2023 plan and money, are you focusing on revenue? So you're investing in your future growth, or are you focusing on profit? If you're focusing this year on growth, then last year you probably would have been focusing on profit because you need profit to get money to run your business. In a small business, it can be really a challenge to think about what it is that you want to focus on. If you've decided to invest in growth, then you need to use your profit or the money in your business to reinvest. And that will be an expensive year for your business because you'll be reinvesting in whatever it is that you're offering. I think it's important at the start of a year to decide whether you're investing in revenue or you're looking at it as a profit year. So that's one decision that you could be making. Maybe you've got very few customers so far, which is absolutely perfect because even if you've only got a small list and small connections, this is the start of you generating something much bigger and you can still have that long-term vision for where you want to go. Obviously, it's going to cost you a lot more to generate new leads if you've only got small connections. But if you accept that you're going to need to have money to invest in it in your business, then you won't feel disillusioned when it takes you some time. If you've chosen a profit year rather than a growth year, then maybe you've already built your infrastructure and you've got products which are profitable and you've got a lot of buyers already. Maybe you have a product or service that is evergreen, and by evergreen we mean that it just keeps selling on and on over the course of years. And maybe you just increase the price of that evergreen product of what you've created and people keep buying from you, or maybe you've decided to repackage whatever it is that you offer rather than growing or creating some new things. Your focus for your sales and marketing this year could be around a product launch. It's important to make that decision now for what you want to have happen for the coming year, because then you've got a plan in place. So go through the list, decide whether you're going to have it as a revenue or a profit year. Have a think about what you want to launch, and then how are you going to get the sales? What are you going to be investing in your marketing? What sort of budget are you going to give yourself for investing in your marketing? I always think it's really important to have as a target for every week a sales target so that at least every day you have done one sales generating activity, whatever that is. And also to have a plan in place for how you're going to be generating your sales. And as I said in one of the earlier calls, please remember that your time is money as well. So take that into account when you're thinking about how you're going to be growing your business. What we look at quarterly, and so we're moving now from annual planning to quarterly planning, is we spend part of the month at the end of a quarter thinking about some rituals we put in place, and this is one of the rituals we put in place. We put in place some rituals to think about, and we call this the CEO week. Every quarter we ask ourselves these questions, and usually we get together at Avenue with our coaching clients before the end of the year and then at the end of each quarter. So it would be the end of March and June and September. But I think now is the perfect time for you to be doing this, because probably the year hasn't really fully started. Give yourself some time to think about this. And when I say the CEO week, I don't mean that you spend the whole week doing it. Maybe you spend an hour each day, but you've actually scheduled the hour into your diary to think about these things. And you've reserved that time for your thinking. Normally, during the months, we're all over the place, aren't we? We're selling, we're marketing, we're maybe creating events, and you don't necessarily have time to strategically think about where your business is heading. We work on this over the course of a week, not every day, but to give yourself some of the time to think about those things over the course of a week. This is the week where we put on our CEO hat and only make strategic decisions. We look at the long-term vision, where we're going, what didn't work so well, what worked well, what we want to continue doing, and then what we're going to focus on for the next 90 days. And of course, have some fun while we're doing it. I've mentioned on an earlier call that you're not the manager of your time. You're not the manager of your business. You're the owner. And it's important that you take yourself and your role seriously and actually do this work for your business and work on your business, not just in your business. To spend some time thinking about working on your business and give yourself that time. If you schedule this time into your calendar, you'll know when you're not available, and you're going to be you've decided this is the time I'm going to be spending doing my strategic thinking. Last time I talked about the significance of the action goals, so I'm not going to go into those again, but this is during the Girl Boss week. We think about this time and we go very, very specific on what we want to achieve during the next 90 days, what action goal we want to be working on. And we allow ourselves to follow just one strategy, one consistent decision that we want for our business, and one goal for 90 days, not lots and lots of different goals. It could be that you've decided that you're going to focus on one new social media platform. Maybe you've decided that you think you believe that your customers are now using TikTok, and they're saying that TikTok is now getting a much older audience than it was previously. You could decide, well, I've already done some research. I'm pretty sure that my customers are there. For 90 days, you have a plan for using TikTok. And then that normally 90 days is enough time for you to be seeing if it works, and if it didn't, then you realize that you don't use that going forward. And then you can look at it, is it something worth doing for my business? Or maybe you've got a new product launch and you want to put in place some systems and processes to launch it. First of all, have you done the research to find out if that particular product is what your market want or need? That could be something you do in 90 days. Or if you've already done that research, then maybe it's about getting samples or creating some packaging, creating content about that specific new product that you're offering. You could need to take photographs of the product, or write blogs or create social media posts about it. It could be a time when you create new sales materials if you've already got a product or service that you want to reinvigorate, and you create content about it. You write blogs, you schedule in lives, you arrange to be interviewed by third parties about your product or service. And what I suggest you do as part of your 90-day planning is maybe you sit down on one day and come up with the titles for those blogs. Maybe I've decided I want to do 4 blogs a month. I could sit down on one day and just write down the titles of those blogs I'm going to write, or spend one day creating all my social media posts for the month. But please know, I did say one thing, because we've all got a tendency to write down hundreds of things, and then we get fed up because we've run out of time and feel disheartened and don't do any of it, and they don't become action goals or actionable goals because there's just too much going on. It could take 90 days before you get any interaction on a new platform, as I mentioned earlier. And 90 days is long enough to get results, but short enough to change directions. Say you're launching your first course, the 90-day period could be when you do those surveys and start sharing the course to validate whether it's relevant for your market. This 90-day breather gives you the opportunity to think about what's working, what's not working, and then make a plan based on where you're heading. I suggest that every 90 days, you just stand still a little bit and make some decisions. You start thinking about, is this really what I want for my business for over the longer term? Am I really going the right way? Am I focusing on the right things? And probably you are as well, slightly guilty of maybe I get attracted by the latest bright shiny thing, and actually the latest bright shiny thing doesn't really fit with my business. So that's why these 90-day goal settings are really crucial, because you actually decide that for 90 days, I'm going to work on this one thing. Are my actions in line with where I'm actually going? Where do I want to go? Or has something changed over the last 90 days or the last year? We look at that as well. Avenue for growth is very much about being focused and structured. And that's what I think is really important in today's world. If we just think about visions and dreams every day, we may not get the results that we want. So we need to be super centered and then just lift the head every 90 days. Maybe you don't need to be dreaming every day of the 93 days of the quarter, because otherwise you're just spending your time dreaming and wishing and hoping. It's good to actually have this specific time where you work on what you want longer term in that 90 days. Every 90 days, we stop for a little bit, and that's the period of time that we can be thinking about dreaming and planning and creating our intentions and our goals. I hope that unpacks for you what you could be doing over the next 90 days. And I hope you decide to schedule some time into your diary to do that actual work on your business and to spend time understanding where you want your business to be at the end of 90 days too. Bye for now.